Hi, I'm Lola Aneke and I welcome you to Speed Dial on Finding Help with Special Needs. Today I'll be talking to us about strategies to connect with children with special needs in our inclusive classroom. So I'll be sharing tips with us on how to connect with children with special needs in our classroom. I've been at an IEP once and I was seated as a consultant. The shadow of the child was seated, the parents of the child were seated, and the school administrator was seated. As we were about to begin the meeting, I said to them, "Where is this child's classroom teacher?" And they said to me, "You don't have to worry about that. She doesn't have to be here. She's with other kids. The shadow is the one that usually work with him. The shadow will be able to tell you all you need to know about the child." And for me, that is a no-no. I said to them, that is not acceptable. If she's the teacher of that classroom, she's the classroom teacher of that class, be it primary 1 or 2, every child should matter to her. It is our classroom and not the shadow's classroom. And that child is also a member of that classroom, and that child should matter to her, as opposed to just leaving the child for the shadow to be at the child's individualized education plan meeting. I've also heard of cases where once the shadow or the support staff of the child is not available, probably for health reasons or for some very important reasons, learning does not take place for that child with special needs. That is also not acceptable. As a classroom teacher, every child should matter to you. You need to learn to manage your time, your classroom, your behavior, everything about your students appropriately, as long as your school is practicing inclusive education and you are a teacher of all students, be it a child without special needs or a child with special needs. Now I'll be sharing a few tips to help us as teachers to be able to connect with our children, all children, particularly those children with special needs. When we learn to connect with our children with special needs, two things happens. You are setting the right expectation for that child, because most times we just realize that we operate with that saying that you do as I say and not as I do. But for children and all children with special needs or without special needs, it is more of do as I do as opposed to do as I say. They want to see you as their role model. They want to follow. They see us as their role model. They see you as that person they can trust and believe in what they say. I often wonder why my daughter would say to me, "No, that's not what Miss Ozofu said. That's not what Miss Phil said," because this is what they see their teachers as their role models. Okay, so we need to learn to set the right and the positive expectation to them by showing them how to connect with other children. So when you as a teacher connect with children with special needs in your classroom, you are showing that child with special needs the right expectation, and you're also showing the child without special needs the right expectation. The first tip I'll be sharing with us is to learn to call all children by their names, particularly that child with special needs. It's very easy for us to call that if you wanted to refer to a child with special needs in your classroom, and because there's always a shadow available or a support staff, you go. For example, if the teacher's name was Miss Aino, your child is not this thing. Miss Aino, go and bring your child now. That other kids are watching you, and that's exactly the same way they will react to that child. And bet me, you don't want to be that person. Another way, when you learn to call the name, please learn to call the child's name. Pronounce the name properly. Pronounce it appropriately. If the child's name is Chimamanda, call Chimamanda. Call Adamu. Call Shuaibu. Call Nifemi. Ara. Call the names the way it's meant to be pronounced. So that's the first tip. Let's call them by their names, and let's call the names appropriately. The second thing I'll be sharing with us is let's learn to say please. Please simply means if it pleases you, or if it gives you pleasure. So it doesn't take anything away from us. In this part of the world, I realize that probably for cultural reasons, most older people find it very hard to say please to younger people. It does not take anything away from us. As a matter of fact, when I was growing up, and I wish I don't have to say this. My father would say please to me, and I would want to please him. Unlike my mom thinks, oh, it's a right for me. You are my child, so why should I say please to you? And for that reason, growing up, I had a soft feeling for my father. For me, I felt that he respected me enough to say please to me, even if he's sending me on errands. So please, let's learn to say please to these children. It won't take anything away from us, even if they are doing something wrong. So, for example, if a child is performing an off-task behavior when he's supposed to be doing his writing exercise, for example, instead of you say, will you go ahead and do your work, you can easily say, Femi, could you please stop talking and finish up your writing assignment? You know, that's, even if the child wanted to get angry or wanted to part or so with you, the fact that you said please has a way of soothing that child. And that's a good way to connect with our children with special needs. The next tip I'll be sharing with us is to learn to say thank you. Thank you. It just simply means I appreciate what you've done for me. Thank you for completing your work. So, for example, when you said to Femi to please stop talking, the statement could be, Femi, could you please stop talking and finish up your work? Your work? Thank you. Could you please stop talking and finish up your work? Thank you. Like I said, thank you, really? That child is going to want to give you the best of himself and the best behavior at that time. Another tip I would like to share with us is to learn to smile. I was at a school the other day, and this child, how children want to show you that they've done something well, and the child, I think initially was eating slowly, and the child kept on saying to the child, finish up your food, we are moving to something else. So as the child was not really listening, he kept on eating slowly. So the child got into another activity of the day. So when this child finished his food and went to teacher to say, look, I'm done. And the child said, and so should I start dancing after I told you to finish the food since? And for me, I'm like, this child is just little. You don't know what it took that child to finish that food. And then it came to you and all you could say is, and so? That wasn't good enough. Let's learn to smile at these children. So if a child has a challenge completing a particular task, maybe the child comes to you and say, oh, look, Miss Lola, I can't finish this task. The least you could do is to smile. Oh, let's look at the task together. Oh, this is so easy. Just do it this way, do it that way. And you see, you'll be done in no time. That smile gives that child that feeling of, look, I'm here for you. You need to be very comfortable. I'm here to help you. That's what a smile is all about. And I'm not saying we should just keep smiling like we are maniacs or there's something wrong with us. But look for the strength in smile. Look for the opportunity to smile at the child, to reassure that child that everything is okay. The last tip I'll be sharing with us is, let's learn to show love unconditionally to these children. Learn to forgive them. Learn to show them that you care genuinely. I used to have this TA who didn't understand reason for why children especially behave the way they behave. So every time this child, she was actually living with Down syndrome and emotional disturbances. Anytime she's throwing a tantrum, she only reaches for my TA's table, and then she pushes everything off our table. And then the TA gets really angry. Why do you always push up my table? Why do you pick my table? And then I smile. One day I said to her, I say, you know what? Because you've not learned to forgive her, you keep talking about it. And this child, you are reinforcing that behavior for that child. And this child always take it up on you. You show it. You show it in your face that you're upset, and she wants to make you more angry. So you need to learn to forgive that behavior and don't talk about it anymore and move on. Sometimes the way to show love is when you call the parent of a child especially. It's not all the time you call to report the negative things that child is doing. Let's learn to call to praise the child and let them know that the child did well that day. So these are the tips I have for you in connecting with children with special needs. Learn to call them by their names and call the names appropriately. That was the first tip I gave to you. Learn to say please. It does not take anything away from us. Learn to say thank you to these children. Learn to smile at them and learn to show them love. Try these tips and let's see how it goes. I bet you it's going to pay you off. Thank you for watching this video and have a good one. Bye-bye.